Now, the Palestinian militant group Hamas has said that it will release 10 hostages as part of Gaza ceasefire talks.
Now, the statement comes after 4 days of indirect talks brokered by Qatar. Hamas said that key hurdles remain in the talks, notably the free flow of aid into Gaza, which has been a key demand of the militant group, Israeli military withdrawal from the territory, and real guarantees for a lasting peace. But Hamas displayed flexibility and agreed to release 10 hostages.
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has said there's a very good chance of a ceasefire in Gaza this week or the next.
Well, we're talking about Gaza for the most part. I think we have a chance this week or next week. Not definitely. There's nothing definite about war and Gaza and all of the other places that we all deal with so much. But there's a very good chance that we'll have a settlement, an agreement of some kind this week, and maybe next week if not.
On the other hand, the Israeli Prime Minister told reporters at the US Capitol that him and Donald Trump share a common objective to end Hamas rule in Gaza and secure the release of all hostages.
Now, Netanyahu rejected the suggestion that Palestinians were being pushed out of Gaza, saying Trump's position offered freedom of choice, not forced relocation.
President Trump and I have a common goal. We want to achieve the release of our hostages. We want to end Hamas rule in Gaza. We want to make sure that Gaza does not pose a threat to Israel anymore. In pursuing this common goal, we have a common strategy. Not only do we have a common strategy, we have common tactics. This doesn't involve pressure, doesn't involve coercion, it involves full coordination.
Furthermore, speaking in an interview with Fox Business, Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel is getting closer to a 60-day ceasefire agreement with Hamas.
You have been meeting with President Trump about a potential ceasefire with Hamas. Where does that stand? Will you agree to some of these new recent demands of Hamas?
Well, look, we are talking about a 60-day ceasefire in which half the live hostages and half of the deceased hostages would be returned to Israel by these Hamas monsters, you know. And yes, I think we're getting closer to a deal.
Of the 251 hostages seized during the assault on Israeli border communities near Gaza, 49 are still held in the territory, including 27 the Israeli military says are dead.
In a televised address, Israeli Army Chief Eyal Zamir said that conditions have been created for the advancement of a hostage release deal in Gaza as indirect negotiations are underway between Israel and Hamas.
We have caused great damage to the governance and military capabilities of Hamas, and thanks to the operational power that we have demonstrated, the conditions have been created to advance a deal to release the hostages.
On the ground, multiple explosions were seen in northern Gaza on Wednesday afternoon as the Israeli military reported that additional troops have joined the forces in the enclave.
The army said operations have begun to encircle Beit Hanun in northern Gaza, where 5 Israeli soldiers were killed earlier in the week in this same region. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said that 26 people were killed in Israeli strikes on Wednesday, including at least 6 children. Israel's retaliatory campaign has killed at least 57,680 people in Gaza, and according to the Hamas-run territory's health ministry.
For more on this, the correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report. Listen to this.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with a bipartisan group of U.S. senators at the Capitol, part of a high-stakes visit to Washington, D.C. Before the meeting, Prime Minister Netanyahu told reporters that he held a second discussion with President Trump and stressed that Israel has no plans to forcibly remove people from Gaza. President Trump also said that a ceasefire deal in the region is quote-unquote very close, though he did not share any details. Now, the comments come amid growing frustration, including international pressure to not only end the fighting, but bring the hostages home and address the humanitarian crisis. Negotiations are expected to continue over the coming days. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World This One.